Damion, thanks again for coming on to our Thought Leader Spotlight series. I've really enjoyed getting to know you and enjoyed, meeting you at the virtual event the other day. In our past conversations, you told me a little bit about your background, but to start, maybe can you frame that for the audience and tell them a little bit about yourself and why you're a credible thought leader on these subjects.
Well, it's funny. I had a normal life growing up in Alaska, like everybody else, except not like everybody else because I was literally dodging moose and bears in my backyard. So that's probably a little abnormal. But
Yeah.
beyond that, it was kind of normal going to college and things until I got thrown out because I started a bookstore and put the bookstore on campus out of business. And I think that was a really good symbol of who I am and who I was. And that's really, there's an entrepreneurial piece of me that's always wanted to go out and solve problems, which is the key to creating wealth and success is to go find problems that other people have and figure out how to solve them. And so I just did that. And I started doing that when I was 11 with Nintendo games, and it evolved into books. And then ultimately it turned into real estate. And when it turned into real estate, I went out there and I solved problems for people that they couldn't qualify for a house. And I said, okay, well, I could create financing. And I did that 150 times and ended up with a fairly large real estate portfolio. And I say that to impress upon the fact that I've done this stuff. And it was not that I had a $20 million portfolio, because the most impressive part of a $20 million portfolio is that I lost it in 2008 plus 5 million. So that's one of those things where people go, okay, so are you stupid or brilliant? Like, what is your deal? And the reality is I just take a lot of action and I'm not afraid of making mistakes. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that differentiates me. And it's why I've started 50 plus companies, because I'm willing to go and go into the abyss in the darkness and figure it out. And sometimes it doesn't work. In fact, more often than not, it doesn't work. And it's what that means is that it doesn't work the way you thought it was going to work. It means you got an opportunity to learn. And that's what I get. And so I just keep doing that over and over again. And it's led me to where I am after losing the 20 million, going into a place where now the mission in my life is to free 1 million people from financial bondage by breaking their shackles. And that's done through a number of different things. It's really just about exposing people to the truth around money and investing, because we've been lied to most of our lives.
Yeah, so you bring that up. I mean, I love that mission. I think that's an area that our audience would love to hear more about as well. I know obviously things now within the last 2020 in general, just things are up in the air and on their head, and people may have hesitation to take action on their own finances and take action in the abyss, like you said. Can you maybe tell us a little bit more around how you approach that mentally, and how you can maybe give some people confidence to take action in a time like this?
The best thing you're going to ever do and invest in is in a coach or a mastermind where you have somebody that you get to leverage off of. Because when you're confused or you're scared or you're just uncertain, it's really hard to get yourself to take action into the place where you might get cut. And when you have somebody that has that certainty, that's balder, grayer, that has been out there, and they say, look, this is how it's going to be. And you can trust them if you have respect for them. And generally what this means is it's not your neighbor. It's not your cousin. It's not your friend. It's not your parents. It's somebody that you're paying because you have enough respect for them. And we tend to pay attention to what we pay for. And so I always encourage people, instead of saying, okay, I'm going to invest in a piece of real estate, go invest in your personal development with somebody that can guide you, because it's not about how much money you have. It's about what you do with the stuff between your ears. And people think, oh, if I have enough money, then I can be free. That's totally opposite of what's true. I've had people come to me. In fact, I remember a couple came to me and they had close to $2 million because they were going to sell their house, and they'd built up this $1.5 million house plus some cash. And they said, okay, we're thinking about selling it. And I said, okay. And they said, then we're not sure what to do. And it was because they'd never done anything in terms of investing. And so they thought, okay, well, if you just teach us what to do. And as soon as they got a little bit cocky, it took them 1.5 years to lose the entire $2 million because they thought, oh, we know everything now. And that's the problem. If the moment your ego takes over, like mine did in the late 2000s, you're dead. Mm-hmm. So you've got to really have people around you that will thump you and give you honest feedback and be candid with you.
Yep. Yeah. And that's where, I know you have yourself a great group that people can learn from each other, throughout, but maybe, I know this is a little more tactical, but if you could talk to our audience specifically around, and things in the past you've brought up before is thinking about raising money from retirement vehicles and, the opportunity here with the CARES Act currently. I know obviously it starts with your mindset, like you said, and it starts with professional development and getting not getting too cocky, but learning from each other. But beyond that, when we start to get tactical and want to take action, is that a good place for people to start, or can you tell us a little bit more about that entire idea?
Yeah, so one of the things that people don't realize is that the idea of retirement accounts it's a big lie. We've been told that we're supposed to give our money to some system and then it just kind of works itself out and we wake up at 60 and everything is good, and that's total BS. In reality, you've got choices if you want to make them. And the simplest one, the most direct one, the most powerful one is the EQRP, where you can actually control your retirement money, where it's in a checkbook. And most people don't realize you can actually this year in 2020 get control of up to $100,000 out of your current retirement account. Most people can get $100,000 out and start controlling it and doing things, including personal development, including investing in real estate, including all these things that were never an option, whether you work for the federal government or a private employer, you're a doctor, whatever you're doing. And it gives people a choice instead of just saying, okay, well, I guess it'll be whatever it is. And that's what most people are dealing with. They're thinking, well, I've got a 401k and I guess I get to pick one of these mutual funds. And the law is set up so that people only have to have three choices, three different diversified choices. And so most employers say, okay, what's the easiest thing to do? We'll give you mutual funds. And the truth is there's a whole world of other things. And so whether it's for you specifically with your retirement money, or it's for a deal, like let's say you're wanting to go put a deal together. Well, almost the entire population has some sort of retirement account. And most of those people would love to be a part of something that was real on Main Street, not sucked into the fraud on Wall Street. So if you can say, I've got this deal and you could be a part of it with your 401k or IRA or something, that's an incredible value that you bring to the table, and you're helping to free people from financial bondage. So that is probably one of the most valuable things that nobody's ever heard of.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, if you think, one, thank you so much for that nugget. That's going to be great to be sharing with our audience. And then outside of that, if people are going to invest in themselves and try to put themselves in that right mindset and, look at mastermind groups and, start to really, develop themselves professionally there, what are some of the best resources that they should be looking at? And how can they get in touch with you as well?
The best resource that we've created is the QRP book, and it's also to get a copy of the report that sums it up. Because what's I know is true is that there's so much information, we're drowning in it, and what we need is we're starving for wisdom. And if we can get it consolidated into bite-sized nuggets, we'll actually do something with it. Doesn't matter how much information you have; it's what you're doing with certain information. So if you're listening and you're like, well, I kind of want to learn more about this, then grab your cell phone and text the word EQRP to 72,000, and it'll give you a 15-page summary of the retirement space, the EQRP, how to tap into your money from the CARES Act, like all these things, and it'll take you less than 10 minutes to get up to speed, and you'll be able to make a decision. Do I want to go deeper or am I done? If you can flesh something out in 10 minutes, your life gets a lot simpler. So literally it's a text message. And I know everybody knows how to text message because you're listening to this. If you're listening to this, you know how to text. You just text the word EQRP to 72,000, and that will connect you with me and my team, and it'll allow you to become educated and enlightened a little bit on what's real and what's true.
Yep, love it. Yeah, and you're so right that there's just you can be inundated with knowledge out there, and drown in too much information. So figure out what's actionable, and then distill that down and start taking action. So thanks again so much for having us on. Hope to have you on a future one of these, and appreciate your time.
Appreciate you having me, Matt. Thanks so much.